takes about 15 to 20 minutes to do, and it's an assessment to kind of see where you are relative to your handicap and a professional. I recommend it to people that are like, I want to get better, but I'm not sure how I get better, or people that are like, man, I'm hitting it great on the range and I can't take it to the course. So what the Combine's going to do, it's going to gamify your practice. It's going to give you specific yardages you want to hit and a specific target you want to hit. Because I find that a lot of times, myself included, we go to the range, we take our 7-iron, we take our driver, and we kind of just, mindlessly hit balls. So this is going to bring it in a little bit more into focus with the Combine. So you're going to get 2 approach targets and a driving target, and you'll hit 8 shots at each of those targets. You won't hit 8 in a row. You'll hit 2 to the first approach target, 2 to the second approach target, and 2 drivers.
Hi there, this is Don Zweig from Modesto, California, and I play at Del Rio Country Club. I'm introducing Golf Smarter number 907. Enjoy.
Play better and learn a ton about your game with the Combine feature of Rapsodo's MLM2Pro.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to the Golf Smarter podcast, Justin.
Hey, Fred, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you back on the show. We first met up with you back in 2022 in July, just about a year ago. And then you and I saw each other at the PGA show this year when you were announcing the new product that we want to get into detail on today. And that is the Rapsodo MLM2Pro. But first, let's get a rundown of Rapsodo and your product line. Tell me about what's going on over there.
Yeah, so a lot's happened in the last year since we've talked, but we first launched, just to kind of if people missed that episode or they're unfamiliar with Rapsodo, we're a sports analytics company. So basically, we have launch monitors in the baseball, softball, and golf space. So we're looking to optimize athletes' performance, enhance their experience of the game. So on the baseball side, all 30 MLB teams use our products. Hundreds of players are on staff using it, thousands of universities. But we're here to talk about golf. So in golf, 2019, we launched the MLM, which is what we talked about last year. It stands for Mobile Launch Monitor. It's a radar-based unit that uses the camera from your iPhone or iPad to track the ball. So it's pretty unique in that it uses both technologies. You'll see a lot of units out there that either use a radar or a camera, but we use both of those. So that launched at $500, $499 in 2019, and it's been a great product. It's an indoor and outdoor product, so you can hit into a net or take it to the range, and you get a video of your swing as well as a lot of metrics. So it's been a very popular product. And then, as you referenced, we launched the MLM2Pro earlier this year. We announced it at the PGA show, and that was really exciting. That was actually my first PGA show, so kind of didn't know what I was getting into. You kind of,
yeah, me too.
had an idea, but it was really busy week and a lot of excitement around our product because we're launching kind of the next iteration of the MLM, which was the MLM2Pro. And what that was it's 2 years of work developing that, listening to our consumers with the MLM, seeing how they use the product, what they wanted added to the MLM, what it didn't have. So we took all that feedback and worked with our product team and engineers to have the MLM2Pro. So that product is $699 and it offers a little bit more features. So the first thing is people with MLM, it's an iOS-only device for MLM, and they want an Android. So the MLM2Pro is iOS and Android compatible. So it's great to kind of be able to bring those to all the Android fans out there.
Let me ask you a question about that, if you don't mind me interrupting, and I apologize for doing so, but I'm curious.
Anytime, Fred.
Okay, I'm good because I'm good at that. What kind of adoption rate have you had with Android users? Have you noticed that it's like significant and it was worth the investment at this point?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just the ease of use to be able to open up to that market, especially globally. So we are a global company. We sell them in Europe and Asia and all across the globe. So I believe iPhone's the most heavily used in the US, but there's still a lot of Android population. So to kind of be able to open that to people with Android tablets or phones, and some people have an iPhone and an Android tablet, or the other way around, and now it just makes it much more accessible for everybody to use. So definitely a big win there.
Great. And what sets your products, and I know the answer to this, but I want the official word on this. What sets your products apart? There's so many launch monitors that are incredibly expensive and robust, and used by a lot of teaching professionals. But I think that this was really directed not necessarily at teaching professionals, but also to include the consumer market, the recreational golfer. What sets your products apart that make them worthwhile for everybody?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going. You'll see when people watch, the Golf Channel or go to a tour event, you see golfers using launch monitors. So I think people are much more familiar with them. But really, with our product, as you pointed out, is it's much more affordable and accessible than a lot of other launch monitors on the market. Plus, we have a lot of features in there. So I would say the first thing that really differentiates ourselves is just the technology. So to have the radar and camera in there, we're able to leverage both of those, because both of those have their strengths to them. And so with that, we have the foundation of accuracy. So that's something that we really strive for, is to have really accurate units, because that's the foundation of everything you build off of in terms of the performance of the device, the experiences you provide. So with the 2 Pro, we have 3 ways to view your swing. So not only do you have the data and the 13 metrics to look at, you also have ways to look at your swing. So every single shot you hit, we have your shot vision, which is what MLM users are familiar with. It's that down the line view of your swing with the shot tracer. So you can actually see what's happening with your swing. You can visually see where the ball is going. So that's recorded. Plus the impact vision camera. So this has been a real popular feature amongst our users, is you can actually see what's happening at, we call it the moment of truth with that ball club interaction. So you can see if you're hitting it on the heel, if you're hitting it on the toe, if you're hitting it high on the face, low on the face. So there's a great education there, right? To kind of be able to see, okay, when I hit it solid, this is what the data happens. When I hit it off the toe, this is what happens. So there's been a lot of aha moments for people there. And then lastly, you can pair your mobile device. So whether it's your phone or your tablet, you can turn on that front-facing camera while you're in the app practicing and see another vantage point. So you can set that, camera up wherever you want. The most use case is kind of setting it in front of you so you can see the face on, and then you'll get the down the line with the MLM2Pro unit itself. So first of all, it's just those video capabilities. To be able to have 3 different views plus the data, you'll have everything you need to be able to diagnose and see what's happening with your swing. So that's kind of the first one there. The second one is new to MLM for us. The MLM2Pro, we have spin now. So when people buy the MLM2Pro, it'll come with 3 Callaway Chrome Soft RPT balls. So RPT stands for Rapsodo Precision Technology, which is the unique dot pattern you see on the ball. So that's how we're actually measuring the spin and spin axis incredibly accurately. People are familiar with spin in general, but just to break it down a little bit, there will be backspin, which is the revolutions it's traveling, and then spin axis is actually the curve of the ball, if you can think about it. So you'll get it in terms of degrees. A positive one, it means the ball is going to the right. A negative one means it's going to the left. And obviously, the greater the number, the more curve it'll have. So if there's a -2-degree spin axis, that's a shot that you'll see that you won't see much curve if you were looking at it in real life outside. But one with 20, you're seeing the ball work right to left there. So that's big with the MLM2Pro, is to have those spin numbers. And then lastly, it's the simulation. So we have a Rapsodo courses, which is 30,000 built-in courses into the app. So you can play your home course. You can, there's a destination course you want to play. If you have a tournament coming up, if you got a buddies trip, you can kind of scout it out ahead of time and play that right in your house or at the range, your local range. So that's been great, as well as we have integrations with Awesome Golf and E6. So you can partner and use those software capabilities as well with the unit.
Wait. When you said you can play with your buddies indoors, are you hitting a ball?
Yeah, so MLM2Pro, you can set it up into a net, so you can hit.
Okay.
And you'll want to use those RPT balls that come with the unit. We also sell more of them online if you need more of them, and then that way you can get really accurate spin numbers and see where the ball's curving. Because a lot of times, you're outside, you can kind of see what's going on, but inside you really need those precise measurements to know if you're hitting a draw or a fade or a slice or a hook. You need to know how much that ball's curving because you can't see it when it goes into the net, right? Because you're just hitting,
right,
a few feet in front of you. So it's really important that we measure that precisely and give those users the feedback they need so that, if it's the winter months or if they're practicing at night, that when they go to the course on that weekend, they know what their ball is going to do because they've been seeing it happen at their house.
Well, I'm really glad to know that you guys sell extra balls because I have a net in my backyard. Here it comes. I have a net in my backyard. And so I was testing the unit out and hitting some of the balls. And then we had company arrive with their dog who decided that that was a scrumptious ball. And
There you
so
go. They're good balls.
I'm down to 2 of the Callaways now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well,
All right,
you can buy them by the dozen at Rapsodo.com exclusively.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, we're going to take a time out. We'll be back right after this. I love how seriously you guys took feedback in developing your second product, because I liked the first unit and used it regularly. But there were some obvious deficiencies to it, and now that you've let me test out the second one, I'm amazed about how far it's developed. And clearly, it's not just engineers deciding what they wanted to do with this.
Yeah, absolutely. The user is extremely important to us. So they're listening to that feedback, gathering it. We have people that reach out on social media, reach out to our support team. We have a group of Rapsodo golf champions that are really close to our team that use the product a lot. They're kind of our super users that, they're beta testing the product. We're kind of seeking their feedback in terms of uses and what they want to see. So with MLM1, we're still very passionate about that product. As I said, it launched at a $499 price point. We brought that down to $299 earlier this year. So it's even more accessible. And we're seeing a lot of people really enjoying that. And we're excited to continue to update MLM1 with new features and new improvements. But with MLM2, you can see it right off the bat. So if I encourage people to Google it if you haven't seen it yet, but it looks very different than a lot of other launch monitors that are out in the market, and that's on purpose because the design was really listening to that feedback. So it's a device that comes in 2 pieces. So you can easily fit it in your golf bag to if you're using it at home and you want to take it to the range, it comes in a little compartment carrying case that you can take with you. So there's a tripod there so that the unit actually sits up a little bit higher. So that was by design with the MLM1 with the integrated camera. Users kind of wanted that video to be a little bit higher. And we didn't make it too high because the tripod would have been too big, but we did raise it as much as we could with that in consideration. Made sure that this was Android compatible. People really wanted spin. We brought that in, simulation. So we really want to build products that people, can enhance their experience, can make them better players, but also ones that they're excited to use all the time. And so we really want them to be involved in the process and take ownership on where we're going with it as well.
Yeah. Kudos to the design of the tripod. I know it's really not has a lot to do with the user, but the user will definitely appreciate the fact that you guys developed a tripod that you can set your phone in, or if it's flipped around, you can set a tablet in. And so it's sitting right there on the unit. When you take a swing, you can look back and it's sitting right there. That was brilliant design.
Thank you. Yeah, I wish I could take credit. I can't. Our engineering team designers, they thought of everything in there. There's certain little components that users might not see, just like part of it has that metal connection. So it's easy to, we thought about how is going to, connect to make it really easy, but secure, and went through a lot of iterations there, and that does well. So yeah, we're very lucky to have the engineers that we have.
Yeah. Well, we're going to thank you, and you can tell them later.
I'll pass it along for sure.
Thank you. Or just take credit for it. I like I said, I've been using it, hitting in my net in the backyard, but sometimes it's not recognizing that I hit the ball, or the lighting isn't right. I have to make sure the lighting's right, because the way the sun is hitting me, sometimes it's not seeing every swing. So I got to make sure that everything's exactly in place. So I tried taking it to a range yesterday, and the range that I was at, I have no cell service, and I couldn't get it to connect on Wi-Fi. Is there a Wi-Fi built into the unit that I can connect? Now, this is my own problem. I need to deal with this. How do I connect if there's no Wi-Fi where I'm out hitting balls? How do I connect the unit to my phone?
Yeah, it's a great question. So first of all, there's a couple of ways to connect. So I think in terms of a learning curve, I'm not saying this is you, Fred, but some people associate Wi-Fi with internet exclusively, and you can think of Wi-Fi as a form to connect devices to them, to each other. So when you prompt to connect to your device, it'll ask, do you have a local Wi-Fi you'd like to connect to? So you can think of that as your internet service that you have at your house, your router, and that is a way that you can connect. Otherwise, you can connect directly to the unit itself. So you would click no there, and there would be a direct connection between your phone and the unit. And then if your phone or tablet has internet service, we'll use the internet that way. So some of the features you will need internet connection with, such as simulation, you'll need internet connection with, but otherwise you can use all the practice modes. You could take a combine, you can hit shots in practice mode, you can use the video of your swing. To gather certain reports like your insight report or combine report, you will need internet access, but you can make a direct connection with a tablet that doesn't have it. So there's ways to do that. And then in terms of setup for people that are listening, for indoors, you will need 8 feet from ball to net. And then we suggest the unit sits 6.5 to 8.5 feet behind you. So kind of right in line with your target. And that's the same outside. So 6.5 feet behind you. And there is an alignment prompt on there visually. So you can kind of see, this is where my target is that I'm aiming. And then this is kind of the ball area that it needs to be in. So that's captured. So the ball area is actually a little bit bigger than people think. You kind of see it on the screen and it looks small, but relative to other launch monitors in the market, it's actually bigger than there. So it should give you optimal, placement there. If you're on a mat, you should never have to move it. If you're on the range, kind of taking divots, and you may need to move it around a little bit just so you have a nice piece of grass to hit off of.
Does the ground have to be level? Because my net is on a little upslope, so it would be lower than where the hitting area is a little bit.
Yeah, so that was another thing we looked at when we were developing it. So we kind of looked at the surfaces all of our users with MLM are on. So most people weren't on completely flat surfaces. So with the MLM2Pro and the MLM, it's taken into consideration that it might not be completely level. So you don't have to worry about it being completely flat out there. But I would say if it's if a steep incline or if it's a steep decline, you kind of have to take that into account a little bit. We have some people that talk about their mats being higher than the ground. Do I need to raise the unit? And I kind of say use your judgment a little bit. So, when we test in the office, when I use it at home, if my mat's about an inch and a half above, the ground, I don't move it. But some people have big platforms that are 3 or 4 inches above the ground. And you can lift your unit up a little bit higher. So kind of play around with your setup a little bit, use your judgment, but it doesn't have to be completely level with the area that you're hitting on.
Oh my God, the revelations already. I've clearly I've been setting this up all wrong, and I'm glad to hear this, because I thought that I had to be 6 feet from the net and that the unit had to be 2 feet behind me. I've got this all wrong, don't I?
Well, we're getting you sorted away. So yeah, so ball to net. So if you're hitting shots, it needs to be at least 8 feet of ball flight. It can be longer. Some people have different setups, but need at least 8 feet. And then the unit sits behind you 6.5 feet at minimum. And you can put it back to 8.5. So that'll give you a better setup there. So for people at home that are looking for an indoor setup, it needs about 14.5 feet to kind of set up the net.
Okay, so that probably explains why I'm like, no, I hit the ball farther than that. Come on, really?
Well, that opens up another thing, Fred, that users are, never want to talk about, but indoor swing syndrome. I don't know if you've ever talked about that on the podcast.
No, I haven't. What is indoor swing syndrome that you guys must have invented?
Indoor swing syndrome. It's a real thing. But a lot of people will reach out to us and say, my data looks great when I take it to the range, and when I go home, the data looks shorter. And I experienced this as well. And if the first thing to always look at if you're kind of seeing shorter distances is I always say, look at your club speed. So hit an 8-iron at the range, hit an 8-iron here, and just look at your club speed, see what the difference is. And almost, 99% of the time, it's people that are swinging it slower. Now, that could be due to them having, 9-foot ceilings and they're worried about hitting, the ceiling. It could be they're worried, their net's kind of small and they're worried about hitting the shank into their neighbor's yard or hitting a wedge over the net. Or it's just that, subconscious feeling of like, I'm swinging my hardest and there's a net 8 feet in front of me, and the ball's going to stop. So it's very common for a lot of people to just not swing the exact same inside, speed-wise. So it's something that I see too. We have a setup here at the office, and I'll hit some. I have a setup in my net, and it takes me a little bit longer to get kind of warmed up and kind of for the trust to be there that the ball is gonna hit the net and go there. So I would encourage people to kind of check out, if they see that in their data, check out your club swing, look at your video, and kind of see if you see any differences, because normally that's the culprit. You're just not quite as comfortable as you think, even if you don't think there's a problem.
Yeah, well, I am outdoors, but I do think that the issue is that I have the unit way too close to me. It's like I'm nervous that I'm going to hit the unit on my backswing. It's that close, and Fred, I'm only 6 feet from the net. So, yeah. All right, you guys can come out here from St. Louis and you set me up, and then we'll go play golf. You can take about two or three strides from your ball to the unit and set it down, and you'll see a target line, and there's a yellow box, and it'll say hit ball area, and that's where you want to make sure your ball is in that area. Oh, that's what that is. That little dotted yellow box.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm still learning about this, and every time I use it, I learn something more, which I absolutely love. I also love that we get to break for commercial sponsors, because that helps us continue the podcast. So let's do that right now. I like the unit. I want to love the unit. And learning as much as I have already in the first 2 segments, I can't believe it. It's just getting me so excited to get out there as soon as we're done and start hitting some more balls. Now let's talk about using the 3 cameras, adding a 3rd camera to this, so you can have a different angle, a different view. How exactly does that work?
Yeah, so you can put that wherever you want. So when you're using the MLM2Pro, you need to be connected to either a phone or a tablet through the app to get data. So while you're in a practice session, it's one of our 3 play modes. We have practice, combines, and simulation. So when you're in a practice mode, you'll see in the top center of the screen a little icon. And if you slide it to the right, it'll activate the front-facing camera of either your phone or your tablet. So then at that point, you can really put that wherever you want the other angle to be. So if you want it behind you, if you want it above you, below you, in front of you, you could put it wherever you want. As I said, the highest use case is normally kind of face on. So if you're kind of swinging, you can kind of see, where your positions are. And normally people kind of have a tripod that they're using to kind of hold the device there. So that's what I use at home. I have one of those tripods that sits right in front of me. That's what I kind of stick the unit, look at all my data, and then if I want to turn on that front-facing camera to get another view, I just hit the button and it turns on and it records that angle, and it'll sync it with the video from the MLM2Pro, so you can kind of review them both at the same time.
So does it record that angle as well? Because I know that you can play it back and look at the angle from the MLM2Pro. I know that I can look at that with each swing. But does it record from your camera as well?
It does, yeah. So if you have
Wow.
if you have a phone, you can kind of, once you toggle on the front-facing camera of your device, so you can kind of view which video you want to see, whether it's the camera from your phone or the MLM2Pro. I always like using the iPad. I think just because you have more real estate with those devices, you can kind of see a little bit more on the screen just in general in terms of gameplay. But once you turn on the second camera, so we call it swing vision, you can see both of them at the same time. So after your shot, you can just replay it right there. Or, if you go home or want to show a buddy or your swing coach the next day, you can just go into your session detail, go to your replay options, and you'll be able to see both swings at the same time.
Awesome. Let's talk about combine. This is something, when I see the three elements on the screen, I've only noticed practice. So I haven't even gotten to combine or simulation yet. That's how new it is to me. And I'm really excited to get started. But I want to talk about, because you've hinted this to me earlier on when we saw each other back in January at our first PGA show. Tell me about combine, how it works, and what the advantages to the consumer.
Yeah, so we launched combines on the MLM1 last September or late August of 2022, and it's my favorite feature on the app in terms of gameplay. So it's a 24-shot test. So people may be wondering, what's a combine mean? You can kind of think of it as a game assessment. So it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to do. And it's an assessment to kind of see where you are relative to your handicap in a professional. So I recommend it to people that are like, I want to get better, but I'm not sure how I get better. Or people that are like, man, I'm hitting it great on the range and I can't take it to the course. So what the combine is going to do, it's going to gamify your practice. It's going to give you specific yardages you want to hit and a specific target you want to hit. Because I find that a lot of times, myself included, we go to the range, we take our 7-iron, we take our driver, and we kind of just, mindlessly hit balls. So this is going to bring it in a little bit more into focus with the combine. So you're going to get 2 approach targets and a driving target, and you'll hit 8 shots at each of those targets. So you won't hit 8 in a row. You'll hit 2 to the first approach target, 2 to the second approach target, and 2 drivers. So you can either customize those yardages for your approach target. Fred, let's say you really wanted, to work on your wedge game. In the long iron, you could put in, 77 yards and 193, and then you'd hit a driver. So after you kind of take the combine, hit all of the shots at that specific target, you'll get your report. So you'll get a score base out of 100. So it's kind of, easy to understand of how you're doing. But there's also a handicap associated with that to give you context. So, let's say you go out there and get a 70. That might equate to, a scratch golfer. Plus, it'll give you a score and a handicap for each of the targets that you hit at. So I always use the example of one of our team members here who loves to hit his driver. Doesn't work a ton on the other part of his game. So he's about a 20 handicap. And when he takes a combine, every single time he hits his driver like a scratch golfer. So he gets a really good score there. And then his approach targets, he hits them like a 30 handicap. So it's pretty easy what he needs to do to improve. He needs to work on his iron play. So it's really fun to kind of play against yourself or against your buddies, pick 2 yardages, see what you can score, see if they can beat you at that score, but also kind of to improve over time. So the minute you get your score back, I want to beat that score again, whether it's the same targets or different ones. And it's just a really fun way to practice and improve and kind of understand how you're doing, because a lot of times people from 100 yards, they may not really know, what's a good shot from 100. So, we'll give you your median distance from all the 8 shots you hit. We'll show you how far pros normally hit from that distance, as well as your handicap range. So you can see how kind of how you're doing relative to your peer group and kind of what's achievable with a professional, to give you some context.
Does this work both in a net and the range, or does it have to be out on the range?
Great question. So the MLM1, the combine has to be taken outside. It's not compatible with net function right now. With the MLM2Pro, it is indoor or outdoor. If you take a combine indoor, you just need to use the RPT golf balls. So it's a great way to stay sharp during the winter, or just kind of have a great practice session. You don't have time to play. Combine takes you 15, 20 minutes, and you can kind of feel like you played around because you hit different clubs in your bag with purpose, and you kind of got a score at the end that you can see how you did.
So when you're saying indoor, that just means hitting into a net, because my net is outdoors.
Hitting into a net,
that still counts.
Sorry,
okay.
Yep, absolutely,
okay.
yeah. My net's outside too, so yeah, I should have said net or range.
Net or range, okay. And tell me about who developed Combine, how it works, how it worked with you.
Yeah, so we developed it with Dr. Sasha McKenzie, who works with a ton of tour players. You may have heard of him from the Stack system, which has been exploding, which is a swing training aid. But we developed it with him. Really wanted to focus in on practicing with purpose in a good timeline. So he used 100,000 shots from PGA Tour pros, as well as 20 plus years of his data where he's worked with handicaps, from scratch all the way to beginners. So a ton of data in there that we use to kind of really mold this into what we think is the best way to kind of test your game.
And the data that he has, comparing to everybody, and then you combine it all. And now, how do you compete with your friends with this? You can't do it remotely. You can't do it with, like, I'm in California, you're in St. Louis. We can't compete at the same time. How would we do that?
Yeah, so right now you could, pick which distances you want. So Fred, maybe we'll do this. We'll pick, you pick the first approach target. So you may think, oh man, I've played with Justin. He's no good from 80 yards. So you'll pick 80, and I may say, Fred, I've seen Fred hit shots from 140. He's no good. So we could kind of pick 80, 140 driver and take the combine and both kind of share what we got with that. So right now there's no way to challenge somebody within the app, but there's definitely ways you can compete against your friends and challenge them and put a little something on the line.
Awesome. Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. Let's see here. I'm going over my notes of all the questions I want to talk to, and we're gonna talk about the membership and simulations, but we're gonna take another time out before we wrap it up. We'll do that right now. Find out what's going on this week on Golf Smarter Mulligans. If you spend any time on YouTube or even social media, you've probably seen Martin Chuck, inventor of the complete line of Tour Striker training aids. Well, this week on Golf Smarter Mulligans, we go back to 2012 and Golf Smarter episode 315 to speak with Martin about improving your critical point of impact.
When you swing a golf club, an interesting thing happens. The arms, okay, let's just say at address, your arms are hanging comfortably from your shoulders and you've got your grip on there. And let's hope your grip's effective because, man, a good grip really helps. When you make your backswing now, your arms actually compress against your body. Your left arm works against your pec, your right arm supports your left arm, and your left arm basically compressed against your body. That is your impact condition. There's a level of compression that is attained in your backswing that you actually need to deliver to impact. You can't press into that position. Setting up at impact is pretty much useless because you're not going to return there unless your compressed arms get back to the golf ball.
That's Martin Chuck of TourStriker.com. Now, I've always found that in addition to an amazingly brilliant design mind, Martin communicates how to improve a golf swing along with some of the very best. That's Golf Smarter Mulligans episode 223, being released this Friday. Golf Smarter is published every Tuesday, and Golf Smarter Mulligans, our sister podcast that revisits the best of Golf Smarter episodes that are no longer available, is released every Friday from wherever you're listening right now. Justin, as we're recording this, we're just getting about to be into August of 2023. And I got an email from Rapsodo the other day about an upcoming contest you have this August. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we partner with our Rapsodo advisor, Claude Harmon III, to give away 2 virtual golf lessons. So if you're not familiar with Claude, he's a top 50 golf instructor by Golf Digest. He's worked with Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Ricky Fowler, a ton of PGA Tour players. He's won the career Grand Slam in terms of coaching. So he's coached somebody to every major victory, which is really cool. There's only been a small amount of coaches that have been able to do that. But we have partnered with him to give away 2 virtual lessons. So all you need to do is take a combine in the month of August. So either MLM1 or MLM2Pro, you can take a combine, and that is 1 entry into the contest, and the entries are unlimited. So you can take as many combines as you want. You can take 10 combines, 20, 50, and those will be 50 entries into the contest where you could win a virtual lesson with Claude Harmon. So really cool opportunity that we're offering our members.
Wow. Oh, so you can do it just once. Every time you practice a combine, it gets submitted to you, or we have to submit it?
Yeah, every time you complete a combine, and make sure it's synced. So any session you have, make sure it's connected to the internet, whether that's not after or during the combine session, and we'll get it. So every completed combine is an entry, so you can take as many as you want.
And so Claude Harmon is not necessarily available for coaching. This is quite the coup that you've. Well, I'm sure he is, but no one can afford it other than the guys on the tour.
Yeah, there's guys. He teaches in Florida as well to some normal golfers, we'll call them, but definitely a really cool opportunity. Not easy to get to, and I mean, there's a ton of knowledge in there. I've spent a lot of time with him and just kind of try to get as much information and knowledge as I can, because he's been around the game a long time in terms of playing with these players. His dad's Butch Harmon, who obviously is very well known of coaching Tiger, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. So to be able to get a lesson from him, spend some time with him, it's going to help your golf game.
Oh yeah. Well, at least I know that there's a connection with one of the Harmons. It wasn't Brian Harmon, but it's Butch. So tell me about what the premium membership offers from Rapsodo.
Yeah, so the MLM2Pro comes with the first year of premium membership included.
Right.
Year 2, it's $199.99. So that will include simulation. That'll include access to your spin data, as well as some of the other video options. So impact vision, swing vision, which is that second camera, as well as combines. So you can still use the device, get metrics, and practice with it to really get the full capabilities of it and play simulation and get spin. You will need the membership for the MLM2Pro. The MLM1 also has a membership that's a bit cheaper. It's $99 a year, and that gives you access to combines. It gives you access to Apex. It gives you access to different slow motion, so different speeds to view your swing in, as well as video storage of up to 10,000 videos. So that's the same on MLM2Pro. It's that 10,000 video storage, which is a lot of videos. So you don't have to worry about, last week's videos getting lost or not saving. So they're in there, and it's a great benefit of the membership package.
And that's the $200 for the MLM2 and the $99 for MLM1. That's an annual fee. That's not monthly, right?
Correct. It's an annual fee.
Okay.
And again, the MLM2Pro membership is included for the first year. So for $699, you have all the features unlocked. It comes with 3 of the RPT golf balls. So once you buy your unit, you are ready to go. You can do everything with the unit.
So when we think about it that way, it's like that's less than a round of golf every week. And if you're a member of a club and you have access to a teaching pro, this is data he can use for you. but you're still going to have to pay for that teaching pro. So this really can help you not take as many lessons because you can analyze your own data. And when you need help, you can find it and show them the video that you have. They'd probably love seeing this video of you.
Yeah, I think for, in terms of people that get a lot of instruction, I think this just speeds up the learning curve, because I think there's that time where, you're with the coach and you're getting a lesson and, you feel kind of good after the lesson, but then it kind of may stick with you for a while. You may go into a lull. This way you can, send it to your coach. You can text him your next, lesson. You can bring this video and the data, and then he knows what you've kind of been doing, while you're away, and he can kind of see the progression of maybe, a month ago, 2 weeks ago, yesterday, and you can just pull that up in your device. So I think that's great there. We've also seen a lot of people, MLM2 users that, we're talking about, man, I used to go to the range every day and spend $20 on a bucket of balls, and now I'm just putting up the net in my backyard, and I've paid for this and saved a ton of money not having to go to the range and time. So there's a lot of big advantages to it. And with the subscription, it's I like to think of it as it's the same as Netflix. So
and you can't share the Netflix account anymore. No, it's really spectacular, and the packaging is amazing. If you don't, you get your free membership for a year when you purchase the product, and then when your membership expires, you have the opportunity to re-up for another year. If you don't re-up for another year, what do you lose? What don't you have? But can you still use the unit?
You can still use the unit. Yeah, you can still practice and get metrics. You won't have simulation, so you won't have the 30,000 Rapsodo courses. You won't have access to our partners that we've integrated with, like E6 and Awesome Golf. You won't see the spin metrics, so the spin data. You won't see the RPMs. You won't see the spin access, and won't have access to combines. So I'd really suggest, that membership package, and it's still extremely, extremely affordable at the price point we're at with MLM2Pro. If you think about all those video replays, all the storage, the simulation, the spin, there's no one else offering that at the price point we're offering. So it's a really great value. And I think what's really great about the MLM2Pro is you can kind of make your setup what you want with it. So if you're looking for a home setup, there's some units out there you need to do X, Y, Z, and you need a PC to use it, and all of a sudden you kind of add it up, and it's like, wow, I'm spending a lot of money. But with the MLM2Pro, it's $699.99, and if you're at home, all you need is a mat and a net, and you can play. But we've seen some people, then kind of go to the TV route, and you can connect your phone or iPad to the TV for a bigger screen, or you can connect it to a projector and have a full impact screen, so that you can really make it, whatever your budget and whatever your space requirements are at your house, you can really personalize it. So I think it's a great way for people to have that kind of man cave or she shed where they're getting to practice at home.
And a way to do this, if you don't sign up again, if you don't renew your membership, can you let it pause for a month or two? Maybe because you're saying, you know what, I'm going to ask people to give me a membership for my birthday or for the holidays. But that's not for a couple of months away. Can you re-sign up for that if you let it pause?
Absolutely,
for a month or two? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, you can rejoin it at any time.
Okay. Now, we haven't talked about the simulation part. Let's dig into that one. I'm excited about this. Tell me.
Yeah. So as like I referenced before, so there's once you click into simulation as a practice mode, first off, we have Rapsodo Range, which is our 3D range experience. So you can use it at a local range hitting outside, or you can use it hitting into a net. And this kind of gives you your metrics on the screen and shows kind of the ball flight, so you can actually kind of visualize what's happening. But we also have Rapsodo courses, which is over 30,000 courses on there. So ton of times I'll play my home course, whether I have a club championship match coming up, I'll kind of play it ahead of time to get comfortable. Or if I'm, going to a new course or a buddy's trip and I kind of want to see, man, what am I going to hit off number 7? It's a great way to play on that platform. Tons of options. And then we've partnered with Awesome Golf. So you can use your MLM2Pro with Awesome Golf software. My kids love using Awesome Golf. It's got kind of some games that you can play, hitting golf balls at, boats, and the boats kind of explode, or buildings. But there's also courses to play on there as well. There's different play modes and ranges. It's a really great platform, and Awesome Golf offers a 14-day free trial. So I encourage everyone to check that out.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, you got to check it out, Fred.
I've never heard of Awesome Golf. What is it?
Yeah. So it's just a software platform
game?
that it integrates with MLM2Pro. So you can play courses on there. You can use their simulated range. You can play games closest to the pin. You definitely have to check it out.
Yeah. I'll definitely check that out. That sounds like fun. And I'm traveling soon, in a couple of weeks, and to a course that I've never played before. So I'm definitely going to check that out, see if that works. Very cool
and then
stuff.
E6 is a great platform as well. And with the MLM2Pro, it comes with 5 free courses for E6. So once you buy your unit, within 48 hours, you'll receive a unique product key code that will give you access to 5 of E6's courses. So they have great courses on there as well. And you can purchase their subscription to kind of play their whole range of courses. So great platform to check out as well.
So this is the MLM1, right? This is the case. And I just love these cases. It's even got a carabiner on there, so you can hang it on your bag if you need to. Opens up into a little clamshell. And then you should be the one showing this off, but it opens up here, and then you just put your phone sitting it right there.
It's really easy. I mean, it shocks people how fast you can set up. I mean, I think I could set it up in 5 seconds. It's be hitting shots extremely quick.
And now the second one, MLM2Pro, is not much bigger than the one, a little bit bigger. And when you open up this beautiful case, this logo, this is sounding like an infomercial, I know, but so what? It's a podcast. Yeah, it's a podcast, and if this is the way you're going to hear about this stuff. So you open it up, and it's the 2 unit. This is the unit itself. It's not very big. It's kind of like a remote control, a little bit heavier with the cameras.
Yeah, it's kind of like like a Wii controller almost.
Right. And what you'll be mostly amazed at is there's a USB-C charging unit to it and 1 button. That's it. Can it get easier than that? 1 button, 1 place to plug it in. And this very awesome, I love this tripod so much because you can do it either way. This is the tripod, and it just fits and turns like that, clicks in. And when you open it up, this way is for your phone right here. And then if you install it the other way, you can have it with your tablet that sits right there. Brilliant design. Right. Brilliant. Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, Justin, thank you. I really appreciate your support and allowing me to test these things out so that we can have a knowledgeable conversation. But obviously, I wasn't that smart about it, so I learned a ton today. Thank you so much. And
thanks for having me on.
Great to talk to you again.
Thanks, Fred.
So in that conversation, I mentioned that my backyard net is not on a level surface, making it difficult to get a good read. I've also tried to use my MLM2Pro at the range, where the mats could be elevated, or even if you're hitting off the grass, the ground is probably not level. So I did a little research and found this awesome little accessory on Etsy. Yeah, on Etsy. It's from Dad's 3D Creations. Dad's, D-A-D-S. Dad's 3D Creations. And they make a launch monitor stand with a bubble level and 3 independent screw-in legs so that you can not only elevate the launch monitor a couple of inches off the ground, but you can also be sure that it's completely level. Now, I've communicated with Johnny, the creator of the stand, and he wants to offer the Golf Smarter community a 10% discount on the stand for MLM and MLM2Pro from Rapsodo, or on any other launch monitor that you have. He can make a stand for it. All you need to do is use a coupon code GolfSmarter10 at checkout. Now, again, go to Etsy and search Dad's 3D Creations. If you search for launch monitor stand on Etsy, you'll get some variations, but please trust me on this one. It's the most affordable and it has the best design. I've done all that legwork for you. Check it out. And as Don Zweig of Modesto, California said when he introduced today's episode, enjoy. Yep, Don Zweig is our newest Golf Smarter ambassador. Don has received a free copy of Tony Manzoni's video of The Lost Fundamental as our way of saying thank you for listening and playing through. It's not hard to become one of our ambassadors. And you'll receive a free gift. Now to play, either write a review of our podcast from wherever you subscribe, or just introduce a new episode by sharing where you're from and where you play. And the 3 gifts you can choose from include Tony's video, a box of Odin X1 balls with the Golf Smarter logo, or a glove and glove storage compartment from redroostergolf.com. I'll leave links in the show notes and today's blog post so you can learn more about them. Please write to me and I'll get back to you with some instructions of what to do and what to say. Send your request to golfsmarterpodcast@gmail.com or click on that Hey Fred button when you visit golfsmarter.com.